Hello F11 members and welcome back to part 2 of the Fundamentals of Post-Production video tutorials for issue 72, January 2018. Now in this very issue of the F11 Photography magazine there is a lowdown feature on Lightroom CC, the new Creative Cloud photography system launched by Adobe back in October, I believe, and alongside its traditional Lightroom CC Classic, which we all know so well. What I thought I'd do is, to accompany that lowdown feature, is have a look at Lightroom CC in this video. Just get our head around the interface and just talk about what I think works and what is missing on this new software program. So here on the screen, what I've done is imported some images that I shot back in February 2016 into Lightroom CC. And to do that, I come up here to the top left of the screen. First thing you notice about Lightroom CC is there's some of the things we're so familiar with: import, export, the library module, the develop module. They're not there. So how does it work? Now, top left, you can see a plus screen, and that's how you add pictures to Lightroom CC. So if I click on that, up comes this window. Just bring it into the screen there. And this is where I choose where I want to upload my pictures from. So for example, in my raw images folder, there's all those, and I could choose any set of images to upload them. Now, bear in mind, of course, that Lightroom CC is completely cloud-based, so this is going to test your Wi-Fi connection. So for me to upload a month's worth of photography in Iceland in February 2016 took something like about an hour. Obviously, that depends how many images you've got there, but so that's that. So that I've done this before rather than sit here waiting for it to do now. And they're imported, and as soon as they're imported, they're then backed up into the cloud. That has numerous advantages, meaning that the images are accessible from any device, anywhere we have a good internet connection. Let's now just look at how I would then process an image, and these are RAWs. This one is a DNG here that has been stitched together previously. So let's process it. And so the first thing I'm going to do now is I click on it. Go back to this one. And up top right here now, you have these edit modules. So if I click on that, up comes the sort of things we're used to seeing. By the way, I'll just revert it to how it would be if you're using this for the first time. Click that off and click that off. There we have what it calls light, color, effects, detail. And I'm going to come over here to the side, click on here and make sure we can show the histogram, because we always like to see the histogram. And then here are the controls that we are so familiar with. So with this particular picture, as normal, I would adjust my whites and my blacks. I'm going to do that now very quickly. This is, of course, all quite familiar. I'm just going to boost my shadows a little bit here. I'm not going to adjust my color. I don't need to put clarity. They've put the dehaze slider in with clarity and vignette removal. You can even opt to add grain. So the interface is a little bit different. A lot of the controls are very familiar to us already. Come down to the second one, and this is the cropping option. So I'm going to crop the image here, and this is all pretty straightforward. Take my glove out of the image there, and that's great. Okay, so hit return, and that's there. Come on down to the next tab here, and it's what it's called the healing brush. Now, I'd say this is much better than the existing Lightroom Classic CC. We've got a healing brush, the option of a healing brush or a clone brush, similar to that which you find in Photoshop. So I'd say that's a good thing. but I don't need that at this particular stage. So we come down here to what it calls the brush. And this is the adjustment brush that we're talking about here. Okay, so as normal, let's just say, for example, I wanted to just put a little bit of contrast into the surface of the water here now. So as normal, I would paint the area I want to affect. Now the first thing I notice is I can't see down the bottom of the screen here the show mask overlay option, which we had in Classic, but it is there apparently, and if I just hit O on the screen, there you can see it. It shows the mask overlay. So I'm going to continue painting in that area there, and then I would adjust my contrast. I'm going to add a touch of the whites here. If I hit O again, it hides the mask overlay. I'm going to adjust my blacks here as well. So I've put a bit of contrast into that area of the sea, so that's fine. Let's move on down. Come to the grad tool here, and again, this is all very familiar. Now, if I just come in and start trying to position my grad as I would do normally, hold down the shift and position the grad, I can't see where the grad is. Again, hit O on the keyboard and you can see where the grad is. There it is. I'm going to do what I would do normally with my grad and just add a bit of darken down the touch at the top of the area of the image a touch. This is a very quick overview really of Lightroom CC, and my gut feeling is that I'm not going to start using it as the main way I process my pictures. Nevertheless, I think we're going to start using it as a cloud-based backup for images and go from there, because I can see Lightroom are going to continue to develop it. But at the moment, there are some things missing. For example, I don't see anywhere here the ability to merge images either as a panorama or exposure merge as HDR. I may be missing something, but I can't see it. I'm sure it will come eventually, but I get very much the impression that Lightroom CC is work in progress. Okay, so I've got the radial feature here, grad feature here. Now, what I see as the big difference here with Lightroom CC towards what we're used to is now, let's just say I've finished with this picture now and I want to export it. Let's just come back actually to my adjustment brush there. I did that somewhat quickly, so I'm going to click on that one there, and I just want to adjust my exposure. It's a little bit muddy there, isn't it? And put a touch of contrast in there. That's better. Okay, now at this stage, done with the picture, what do? What next? We would traditionally be looking to export the image, but there is no export function on it. All I can find is up here. Click on that and it says save to or send to. Now I don't want to send it to Facebook. I want to export this image as a high resolution TIFF to maybe work on or to incorporate into the library. But actually, if I just click on save to, the only option I've got there is a JPEG or as an original. Now that's not really very useful, is it? I want those options of TIFF or PSD or JPEG, DNG, or indeed the original, and I don't have it. And I'm thinking this is a major drawback. The only thing I can do in this situation is if I come down here and edit in Photoshop. So if I click on that, it's now going to open it up in Photoshop with these adjustments applied, where I could carry on working on the image and then save it to the destination I wanted. Nevertheless, as a library management system, that omission of the export function, for me, limits the usefulness of this quite significantly. So there you go. That's a general overview of Lightroom CC. As I mentioned in the accompanying, here it is, opening up in Photoshop, the same image there. I'm going to minimize that down, take you back to Lightroom CC, take you back to the interface here. I do quite like the interface. It's different, but nevertheless, I'm certainly not going to stop working with Lightroom Classic CC. As it's part of the photography plan, of course, you have it included with your plan, so there's no harm in experimenting with it and maybe using it as a form of backup. But I have my reservations at the moment. I hope that's of use, and we will continue in the future to evaluate and work with Lightroom CC, because I'm sure it's the way things are going. Do send us in your thoughts and comments, and to all of you, Happy New Year.